Hey guys, today's video is all about the problems with the game and how to try and get by them. Do iOS, Apple first, and then we'll have a look at Android. Apple, no problems. No kidding. Apple, you need iOS 10, it says. Try and go higher. I think the updated one's iOS 11 at the moment, so try and get that. Just to make sure that you've got the art kit, and you should be fine. Most of the phones work, and on their on the App Store it says quite a few iPads work. You just have to make sure that you have a compass and gyroscope on them, and you should be good to go. The biggest problem you'll find is space. Make sure you have space, so you might have to get rid of some of your pictures. It is a very, very space hungry game, especially memory wise. Download all the assets. There's a few gig of assets there as well, which will make it go smoother. You'll find your biggest issue would be it'll hang, especially when you've only got 2 bars on your reception. When it's loading stuff, it can hang, and if you're moving from into a Wi-Fi area, again, it can hang quite a bit. You'll probably find also the Wi-Fi areas, especially in shopping centres, can slow the game down. So it's probably best to switch those off. Just make sure all your GPS and location are set to the highest frequency, and with Apple and iOS you should be good to go. A few little things, port keys, switch off your AR+, switch off your tracer line, that works for both Android and iOS. Just switch them off, and then you should have no problems. The game should work pretty freely. So there you go, iOS, quite easy, in 2.5 minutes. I say, you normally find the phones that don't work in iOS just don't have the updated iOS 10 plus, or some of the iPads just don't have the gyroscope or Wi-Fi compatibility. Otherwise, most of them should work. Okay, now we'll get on to Android. I'll stop this because I might have to carry on again. Okay, on to Android phones, you poor bastards. There's quite a few that don't work. I might list them there, you might see some of them there. You'll know if yours works or doesn't. What they do need, you need Android 5. If you're using Android Q Beta, it won't work, it'll get stuck on the login screen. So if you've got that tough poopies, you need Android 5 or greater. It says on the Google Store that you need 2 gigabytes of RAM and 2 gigabytes of free space. We already know that the assets take more than that, so you definitely need a hell of a lot more. So just clear whatever data and space you can. If you do run in problems on some Android phones, you can go into the settings, tap on the storage, tap on the apps, choose Harry Potter Wizards Unite, and clear the data and clear the cache, and that'll refresh it. Otherwise you could just delete the app and reload it. If you know you're in a phone that doesn't work, you could try downloading the APK file. If you can find it, that might solve your issues, but I'm not going to promise, no one's going to promise that, and of course Niantic won't approve of that, so you're on your own, especially if you've got a jailbroken or those type of phones. Again, you're on your own. What else is there? Make sure your location settings are on, so they're normally under security or privacy. Just make sure that on the highest available setting, so just make sure that they're on. If you can find it, I don't know where they are on the Android phones, but turn your AR off. That's normally one of the biggest problems that you'll find. AR just doesn't work properly on a lot of the phones, especially the ones that you can't see anything on. What else is there? If you get the clock spinning when you're trying to load, you normally find it's just a server issue, but if it's not the server that's down, then it is your phone. You're just not getting a good connection. So make sure you at least get minimum 3 bars. Otherwise you just have to kill the app and reload it. I think you'll find, again, the same with Apple. If you're moving between mobile data and your Wi-Fi, it does hang a lot more on Android. I don't know why. Same kind of settings. There's actually more things to stop you playing on Android. It says you need a resolution of 720 by 1280 pixels. That again in itself is something that you probably can change on the phones. What else is there? Let's have a quick flick through here. We've said that reservation, no, there's nothing there. Camera problems. It says you need your camera. You need to grant access to the camera. It's in the app settings. Tap on settings, camera, and grant permission. That should pop up when you load the game. Sometimes it doesn't. You've got to fix your GPS permissions. So that's what's in settings, privacy and safety. Again, location. You need GPS, Wi-Fi, mobile networks. Give it the full whack. If you can't find the game in Google Store, then you go to the Samsung one. You'll probably find a lot of the phones just don't play Wizards Unite. It's tough, really. It doesn't look as though they're improving it, and the game is memory hungry, battery hungry, so they're the reasons why. Yeah, so yeah, that's probably about it for now. Okay, quick and short and easy. Okay, common problems across both port key, your distance. You'll find sometimes it doesn't register the distance. The game does have to be open, and it does go from point to point. So it'll go from here to there. So, but if you're going a squiggly thing, it won't count all those steps. It'll only take it from there to there as a direct route over that time. So you could do 3K going squiggly, but it could only count 1K. So you have to be aware of that in the game. Also, trying to open port keys. A lot of the Android phones, you can't see the boot. Normally find just switching off AR mode can fix it sometimes. Besides that, it's your phone. It's not much. It doesn't look as though we've had 3 updates and nothing's been fixed. It's still got the same problem looking at it. Not much we can suggest. Switch off you have to probably fiddle about with the settings. Make sure your battery saver mode is off, because that does affect things. So battery saver mode off, AR off. You can toggle with AR mode on and on. But a few of the Android users have said it's not actually in the game settings, so if it's not in the settings, there's not much more we can suggest. You probably have to look in the actual app settings of the game, outside of the game, rather than the settings in the game, if that makes sense. Other common problems, as we mentioned, is just the spinning clock going backwards. Again, that's server on mobile data issues, or going between Wi-Fi and mobile data. Yeah, that's all we can suggest. I think it's just fiddling about with the settings. If, as I say, I've listed all those phones, they just don't work. A lot of people have mentioned that. There's a list on GoHub. There's lists, if you go looking for them, that phones are not compatible. The only thing we can suggest, if you really seriously want to play it, is to get one of the phones that you know do work. Problems with spell energy, there's no ins. You can go into the settings, and there is something where you can modify. So if you go to settings, help, ins and greenhouses, you can actually ask to modify them. That's probably the only place in game that you can actually put in a complaint or go into detail why you should have an in this particular location. You'd have to give the proper location, and also a picture. It's not the correct route of doing it, but if enough people do it, then they might get the hint. Otherwise, the only other way to get ins and greenhouses into the game is via ingress. There's no other way. It does seem to be that a lot of the new ins are people in cities anyway, which goes against the point, really. So you need somehow for rural players to get these ins. And new housing estates, I noticed, because I was driving through one the other day. It's just empty of stuff. So there's needs to be something to be done about that, even if when they know there's nothing in the area, that some kind of random inn can be placed if there's nothing within 5 or 6k, to put one there. Especially things like crossroads and something, surely that can be fixed somehow. Besides that, you can go into the Harry Potter website online and go into their community thing. There are a few hints and tips there. There's another website, Gotta Be Mobile. They have a few pages on how to fix Wizard Unite problems. I'll link that below. They've got a section for iOS and a section for Android, and there are a few pages there. I've gone over most of those here, but most of them we've mentioned. Login, most of them are straightforward things. Wizard Unite Android problems, they just suggest to clear the cache. That's all we can do for now, so hopefully I'll put a few pictures amongst all this lot to hopefully give you some idea of where to look for things, and hopefully get some of you playing the game, or at least trying to get some more ins put in, or at least providing some kind of list of what your problem is. If you go into Reddit, I think there's in search, there's a few notices, and you can add your phone there and see if someone's actually found a workaround for you. There's not a lot you can do. Hopefully we might have solved some of your issues. Let's say, if in doubt, you get an Apple phone, because there doesn't seem to be too many problems with Apple. But if you hate Apple, just look for the Android list and see if you can get a cheap one of those phones to make it work. Anyway, this is this video. Good luck. Hopefully we can see you in game, because probably could do with a few more numbers. And we'll see you around. Bye.